Hi, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the August 29th, 2025 Assembly Appropriations Suspense hearing on Senate bills. Before we begin, I have a few housekeeping notes to cover. First, I'd like to thank Assemblymember Ahrens for filling in for Assemblymember Hart on the committee today. Thank you. You're always welcome here. You're doing a very good job. Also, before we start with the 261 bills on the suspense file, I would like to thank the committee staff and the Republican staff for their hard work and support. It is very much appreciated. A lot of staff work goes into this behind the scenes, and they are very dedicated civil servants. I could not ask for a more dedicated group of professionals. I would also like to thank the staff of the Speaker's office, the Assembly Sergeant's office, the information technology personnel, and the many others who help ensure the democratic process continues. So thank you for all your hard work. I'd also like to thank my vice chair for her cooperation and support. Thank you, Ms. Sanchez. And I also want to hand it to my colleagues for their hard work on the bills before committee. And as I'm sure folks are aware, obviously we have an enormous amount of budget constraints still facing California and the budget process. This was discussed in the last suspense hearing. It remains true. Our financial outcome is still very difficult. And so we really were keeping that top of mind as we reviewed all 261 bills that were before us here in committee and trying to figure out how to make some tough choices on the limited resources that we have to ensure that we are serving our most vulnerable folks in our communities and making sure that we're doing everything we can to put our best foot forward for a strong social safety net and ensuring folks can realize their full potential here in California with the budget constraints that are just our reality. I'd also like to announce that the hearing agenda is organized in alphabetical order by author, with the 4 bills authored by the Senate Policy Committees listed at the end of the agenda. An electronic copy of the agenda is available online at the Assembly Appropriations Committee website, which is located at apro.assembly.ca.gov. There are also a limited number of hard copies of the agenda in the hearing room. Later this afternoon, following today's hearing, the committee will post the results of the suspense file hearing on the same website. Ms. Sanchez, is there anything else you'd like to say before we begin?
Chair, I'd just like to echo your sentiments and thank the staff for all of their hard work and look forward to working with you in the future as we're doing year 2.
Thank you. Let's establish a quorum. Let's do that.
Wicks.
Here.
Wicks present. Sanchez. Sanchez present. Arumbula.
Here.
Arumbula present. Calderon. Calderon present. Caloza. Caloza present. Dixon. Dixon present. El Hawari. Fong. Fong present. Mark Gonzalez. Mark Gonzalez present. Ahrens.
Present.
Ahrens present. Pacheco. Pacheco present. Pellerin. Pellerin present. Salache. Salache present. Tar. Tar present. Tangipa. Tangipa present. We have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Okay. The first bill before the committee is SB 495 by Senator Allen. I see a motion by Mr. Ahrens and a second by Ms. Pacheco. That bill gets out on an A roll call. Without objection, we will substitute the motion and second for all do pass or do pass with amendments on the rest of the suspense file. Right. So SB 495, insurance data and claims do pass. Out on an A roll call. SB 601 Allen, Nexus Water, that's a 2-year bill. SB 615 Allen, EV Battery Management, do pass with author's amendments to, among other things, strike GGRF loan reference and modify requirements related to secondary handlers. Out on a B roll call. SB 663 Allen, Wildfire Property Tax Relief, do pass. Out on an A roll call. SB 682 Allen, PFAS prohibitions do pass with author's amendments to, among other things, strike Section 2 and modify various definitions. Out on a B roll call. SB 749 Allen, Mobile Home Parks, Holding Committee. SB 812 Allen, Youth Drop-In Centers, Holding Committee. SB 451 Archuleta, Gambling Investigations, do pass. Out on an A roll call. SB 571 Archuleta, emergencies crimes do pass as amended to strike felony liability for the false impersonation of offense, out with Republicans not voting. SB 694 Archuleta, veterans benefits do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 759 Archuleta, supervised release, holding committee. SB 779 Archuleta, contractor civil penalties do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 793 Archuleta, unsafe lighters do pass as amended to make clarifying changes, out with Republicans not voting. SB 804 Archuleta, hydrogen pipeline regulations do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 431 Aragine, assault and battery, holding committee. SB 524 Aragine, law enforcement reports do pass with authors' amendments to add definitions and specify the audit trail must be maintained for as long as the official police report, out on a B roll call. SB 704 Aragine, firearm barrels do pass with author amendments to add exemptions and authorize DOJ to charge a fee, among other changes, out on a B roll call. SB 786 Aragine, general plan judicial challenges do pass as amended to revise the temporary relief provisions, out on a B roll call. SB 830 Aragine, CEQA streamlining city of Emeryville do pass with author amendments to, among other things, clarify court cost recovery language, out with Republicans not voting. SB 6 Ashby, controlled substances, holding committee. SB 11 Ashby, AI technology do pass with author amendments to define public prosecutors and make technical changes, out with Republicans not voting. SB 50 Ashby, connected devices do pass with author amendments to exempt component devices, out with Republicans not voting. SB 414 Ashby, charter school accountability do pass with author amendments regarding annual audit and contracting requirements, out with Republicans not voting. SB 639 Ashby, flood protection deadlines do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 641 Ashby, disaster license and fee exemptions do pass as amended to revise intent language, out with Republicans not voting. SB 720 Ashby, automated traffic enforcement systems do pass with author amendments to specify requirements of right on red policies, out on a B roll call. SB 761 Ashby, CalFresh eligibility do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 254 Becker, electrical utilities do pass, out on a B roll call. SB 306 Becker, healthcare prior authorization do pass with author amendments related to treatment modifications, out with Republicans not voting. SB 326 Becker, wildfire risk mitigation planning do pass as amended to require CAL FIRE to contract out for certain work, among other changes, out with Republicans not voting. SB 338 Becker, virtual health hubs do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 541 Becker, electrical load shifting do pass as amended to remove requirement that Energy Commission develop a strategy, out on a B roll call. SB 606 Becker, HAP, holding committee. SB 822 Becker, unclaimed property program do pass as amended to make clarifying changes, out with Republicans not voting. SB 14 Blake Spear, state agencies waste reduction, holding committee. SB 329 Blake Spear, alcohol and drug treatment facilities 2-year bill. SB 403 Blake Spear, end of life option act do pass with author amendments to remove stakeholder process, out on a B roll call. SB 427 Blake Spear, habitat conservation fund do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 633 Blake Spear, beverage containers recycling 2-year bill. SB 710 Blake Spear, solar property taxation exclusion do pass as amended to strike section 2 of the bill, out with Republicans not voting. SB 278 Cabalden, Medi-Cal HIV reporting do pass with author amendments to strike the opt-out, out with Republicans not voting. SB 371 Cabalden, TNC insurance coverage do pass as amended to set the per person coverage limit at 60,000, require the CPUC to report additional TNC data, and make the bill contingent on AB 1340 WICS taking effect, out with Republicans not voting. SB 514 Cabalden, defensible space do pass as amended to, among other things, strike contractors as eligible qualifying entities, out with Republicans not voting. SB 640 Cabalden, college admissions, do pass with committee amendments to remove Section 3, out with Republicans not voting. SB 674 Cabalden, beverage containers, holding committee. SB 744 Cabalden, accrediting agencies, do pass, out on a B roll call. SB 772 Cabalden, infill infrastructure grant program, 2-year bill. SB 790 Cabalden, distance education, holding committee. SB 72 Caballero, California Water Plan, do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 80 Caballero, fusion energy hubs, do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 88 Caballero, biomass resources, do pass with author amendments to, among other things, strike reference to scoping plan, out with Republicans not voting. SB 298 Caballero, ocean-going vessels, do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 404 Caballero, metal shredding facilities, do pass with author amendments to, among other things, modify regulatory fee and enforcement provisions, out with Republicans not voting. SB 419 Caballero, hydrogen fuel tax exemption, do pass as amended to make a technical change, out with Republicans not voting. SB 509 Caballero, transnational repression training, do pass, out with Republicans not voting. SB 520 Caballero, nurse midwifery education program, do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 599 Caballero, atmospheric river forecast, do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 643 Caballero, carbon dioxide removal purchase program, do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 769 Caballero, Golden State infrastructure, do pass, out with Republicans not voting. SB 785 Caballero, medical equipment tax credit, do pass, and out on a roll call. SB 808 Caballero, housing development actions, do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 3 Cervantes, election procedures, do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 4 Cervantes, Indigenous Justice Program, holding committee. SB 228 Cervantes, Comprehensive Perinatal Service Program, holding committee. SB 274 Cervantes, Automatic License Plate Recognition System, do pass, out on a B roll call. SB 292 Cervantes, Electrical energization, do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 313 Cervantes, birth certificates, parents' place of birth, do pass, out on a B roll call. SB 408 Choi, voter residency confirmation, holding committee. SB 429 Cortese, public wildfire catastrophe model, do pass as amended to make clarifying changes, out with Republicans not voting. SB 494 Cortese, disciplinary hearings, do pass, out on a B roll call. SB 545 Cortese, high-speed rail economic planning, holding committee. SB 550 Cortese, legal education pilot program, holding committee. SB 551 Cortese, state corrections policy, do pass, out on a B roll call. SB 553 Cortese, prison clearances, do pass with authors' amendments, adding legal professionals into the existing annual clearance process and making other technical changes, out with Republicans not voting. SB 597 Cortese, labor joint liability, do pass as amended to make a clarifying change, out with Republicans not voting. SB 653 Cortese, environmentally sensitive vegetation management, do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 695 Cortese, transportation project of statewide and regional significance, do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 743 Cortese, equalization reserve account, holding committee. SB 750 Cortese, California Housing Finance and Credit Act, 2-year bill. SB 791 Cortese, auto sale document processing fee increase, do pass as amended to reduce the cap to $260 and repeal the authority to collect that amount effective January 1st, 2031, out with Republicans not voting. SB 718, Dolly, hunting and sports fishing licenses, holding committee. SB 580 Durazo, DOJ immigration policies, do pass as amended to strike requirement that agencies adopt DOJ guidance regarding databases, that's out on a B roll call. SB 590 Durazo, paid family leave, do pass, out on an A roll call, and I'd like to be added as a principal co-author. SB 629 Durazo, wildfire mapping and enforcement, do pass as amended to strike the requirement for a fire authority to enforce a wildfire community safe program. That is out on a B roll call. SB 635 Durazo, sidewalk and food vendors, do pass as amended to provide a Public Records Act exemption, revise contracting language, and make other clarifying changes. That's out on a B roll call. SB 707 Durazo, Brown Act, do pass as amended to delay implementation of specified requirements by 6 months, modify special district definitions and requirements, restore public comment language with exemptions, make other clarifying changes. That is out on a B roll call. SB 716 Durazo, broadband internet access, do pass out on a B roll call. SB 754 Durazo, chemicals of concern and menstrual products, do pass with author amendments to, among other things, modify testing requirements. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 784 Durazo, home improvement loans, 2-year bill. SB 809 Durazo, construction trucking amnesty program, do pass as amended to make technical and clarifying changes. That is out on a B roll call. SB 834 Durazo, criminal record relief, hold in committee. SB 263 Gonzalez, tariff study, do pass as amended to remove the appropriations. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 572 Gonzalez, vehicle crash reports, hold in committee. SB 827 Gonzalez, local officials fiscal training, do pass as amended to clarify a definition and make other changes. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 244 Grayson, disabled student services, hold in committee. SB 291 Grayson, workers' compensation insurance, do pass out on an A roll call. SB 328 Grayson, generation and handling fee cap, 2-year bill, and I would like to be added on as a co-author. SB 487 Grayson, workers' compensation claim, do pass as amended to apply the bill to a peace officer or firefighter employed by a local agency only, out with Republicans not voting. SB 287 Grayson, manufacturing tax credit, this is a 2-year bill. Sorry, 587 Grayson, manufacturing tax credit, 2-year bill. SB 246 Grove, Medi-Cal graduate medical education payments, that's due pass out on an A roll call. SB 373 Grove, non-public schools, do pass with author amendments to limit NPS overnight provisions to out-of-state schools only. That's out on an A roll call. SB 712 Grove, smog check exemptions, hold in committee. SB 224 Hurtado, water supply forecasting, do pass as amended to strike the public meetings requirements. That's out on an A roll call. SB 295 Hurtado, price algorithms, do pass with author amendments to specify the bill covers goods and commodities, exempt specified insurers and credit reporting tools, among other changes. That's out on a B roll call. SB 297 Hurtado, Valley Fever, hold in committee. SB 317 Hurtado, wastewater surveillance, do pass with authors technical and clarifying amendments. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 345 Hurtado, fire training fees, do pass out on an A roll call. SB 444 Hurtado, state food policy, hold in committee. SB 556 Hurtado, floodplain funding, hold in committee. SB 593 Hurtado, voltage change study, do pass with authors amendments to direct the CPUC to require electrical utilities to study voltage related incidents. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 647 Hurtado, Low Income Oversight Board, do pass as amended to remove the requirement the CPUC development standardized statewide performance metrics. That's out with on a B roll call. SB 763 Hurtado, conspiracy against trade, do pass as amended to strike the increase in jail terms. That's out on a B roll call. SB 379 Jones, Department of State Hospitals Standards, hold in committee. SB 380 Jones, Transitional Housing Report, do pass out on an A roll call. SB 525 Jones, Manufactured Home Insurance, do pass out on an A roll call. SB 29 Laird Civil Damages, 2-year bill. SB 484 Laird Coastal Development Permit Exclusion, due pass, out on an A roll call. SB 494 Laird CEC Report to Legislature. 490. We did 484. Yeah. 491. 491 Laird, right? 491 Laird CEC Report to the Legislature Holding Committee. SB 577 Laird Government Liability, due pass, out on an A roll call. SB 839 Laird Oil Spills Water Closure, due pass with author's technical amendments, with Republicans not voting. SB 542 Lamone Oil Spill Prevention, due pass with author's amendments to narrow bill to specified pipelines. That's out on a B roll call. SB 567 Lamone Gravity-Based Energy Storage Wells, due pass with author's amendments to strike Section 1. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 642 Lamone Equal Pay Act, due pass is amended to reduce the wage recovery period to 6 years and make clarifying changes. That is out on a B roll call. SB 676 Lamone CEQA Judicial Streamlining, due pass is amended to require applicants to pay court costs. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 702 Lamone Legislative and gubernatorial appointments, due pass is amended to align reporting requirements. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 778 Lamone Migrant Child Care Programs, due pass is amended to clarify self-certification. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 840 Lamone Greenhouse Gas Report, due pass, out on an A roll call. SB 581 McGuire Firefighter Employment, due pass, out on an A roll call. Bless you. SB 669 McGuire Standby Perinatal Medical Services, due pass, out on an A roll call. SB 727 McGuire Great Redwood Trail Agency, due pass, out on an A roll call. SB 7 McNerney Automated Decision Systems, due pass is amended to strike the appeals process, narrow employer obligations, and add a collective bargaining agreement exemption, among other changes. That is out on a B roll call. SB 24 McNerney Utility Cost Recovery, due pass with authors' amendments regarding public service messaging and committee amendments regarding the willfulness of IOU actions. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 31 McNerney Recycled Water, due pass, out on an A roll call. SB 69 McNerney DOJ AI Program Holding Committee. SB 86 McNerney Sales Tax Exclusion Program, due pass is amended to shorten the sunset date extension to 2 years, and that is out with Republicans not voting. SB 279 McNerney Composite Operations, due pass with author amendments to, among other things, add definitions and modify scope of excluded activities. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 454 McNerney PFAS Mitigation Fund, due pass, out on an A roll call. SB 711 McNerney Federal Tax Conformity, due pass is amended to modify certain conformity provisions. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 787 McNerney Industrial Policy and Clean Energy Development, due pass with author amendments to delete the Department of Water Resources from bill and to make clear that agencies don't have to create new apprenticeship programs. That's out with on a B roll call. SB 833 McNerney Human Oversight of Critical Infrastructure, 2-year bill. SB 20 Menjivar Fabrication Activities, due pass is amended to strike certification provisions and instead require an employee who performs high exposure trigger tasks in a fabrication shop to receive specified training, among other changes. That is out with Republicans not voting. SB 322 Menjivar Equestrian Inclusion Zone Holding Committee. SB 324 Menjivar Medi-Cal Community Providers Holding Committee. SB 337 Menjivar Prisons, 2-year bill. SB 418 Menjivar Hormone Therapy and Non-Discrimination, due pass, out on a B roll call. SB 471 Menjivar Developmental Service Ombudsperson. Do pass is amended to merge existing offices and make other clarifying changes. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 596, Menjivar Nursing Staff Ratio Penalties. Do pass with author amendments to remove timelines. That's out on a B roll call. SB 660, Menjivar Health Data Exchange Framework. Do pass with author amendments to remove the governing board, among other changes. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 234, NILO Toxic Heavy Metals Work Group Holding Committee. SB 359, NILO Local Transit Tax Exemption. Do pass out on an A roll call. SB 568, NILO Epinephrine Delivery System. Do pass out on an A roll call. And please add Ms. Sanchez as a principal co-author. SB 603, NILO Base Year Value Transfer Holding Committee. SB 221, Ochoa Bow Stalking. Do pass out on an A roll call. SB 745, Ochoa Bow American Government and Civics Holding Committee. SB 57, Padilla Large Load Utility Customer Tariff. Do pass is amended to limit the bill to the assessment and modify assessment language to also consider stranded assets. That's out on a B roll call. SB 243, Padilla Companion Chatbots. Do pass out on an A roll call. SB 302, Padilla Environmental Tax Credit Exclusion. Do pass out on an A roll call. SB 369, Padilla Salton Sea Skilled and Trained Workforce. Do pass is amended to limit skilled and trained requirement to projects over 1 million, out with Republicans not voting. SB 388, Padilla California Latino Commission. Do pass is amended to shorten commissioner terms to 2 years and strike state agency data sharing requirement. That's out on a B roll call. SB 461, Padilla CHP Property Sale. Do pass is amended to require the appropriation of proceeds pursuant to existing law. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 473, Padilla Water Corporations Holding Committee. SB 638, Padilla Workforce Development. Do pass. That's out on a B roll call. SB 52, Perez Housing Rental Terms Holding Committee. SB 256, Perez Utility Wildfire Mitigation Holding Committee. SB 293, Perez Intergenerational Property Tax Exclusion. Do pass is amended to allow the timely filed extension for 5 years only. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 323, Perez California Dream Act Application 2-year bill. SB 355, Perez Judgment Debtor Employers. Do pass out on an A roll call. SB 411, Perez Stop Child Hunger Act. Do pass with author amendments to make subject to appropriation, out with Republicans not voting. SB 610, Perez Tenant and Mobile Home Park Disaster Assistance. Do pass is amended to revise the damage repair and tenant remedy provisions, delete section 4, and make other clarifying changes. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 848, Perez School Employee Misconduct. Do pass with author amendments to make technical changes. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 245, Reyes Criminal Procedures. Do pass, out with Republicans not voting. SB 271, Reyes Dependent Children Resources. Do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 294, Reyes Know Your Rights Act. Do pass is amended to clarify notice requirements. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 316, Reyes Voter Registration Holding Committee. SB 334, Reyes Pupil Safety Holding Committee. SB 352, Reyes Disaster Preparedness. Do pass is amended with technical and clarifying changes. It's out with Republicans not voting. SB 485, Reyes Public Defenders. Do pass, out on a B roll call. SB 781, Reyes Small Business Holding Committee. SB 800, Reyes State Overpass Assessment. Do pass with authors' amendments to direct Caltrans in consultation with others to incorporate suicide deterrent considerations into subsequent updates of guidance documents. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 34, Richardson, South Coast Air Quality Management District and San Pedro Bay Ports. Do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 515 Richardson, demographic data collection do pass out on a B roll call. SB 530 Richardson, Medi-Cal access standards do pass out on an A roll call. SB 535 Richardson, obesity treatment, 2-year bill. SB 631 Richardson, charter school revolving loans do pass out on an A roll call. SB 703 Richardson, port truck drivers do pass is amended to delay certain requirements by 1 year and make other clarifying changes. That's out on a B roll call. SB 724 Richardson, public housing lead testing holding committee. SB 748 Richardson, encampment resolution funding program do pass is amended to delete the LAO report and make other clarifying changes. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 767 Richardson, crude oil pipeline reporting do pass is amended to modify information a pipeline operator is to report. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 18 Rubio, grocery store grants holding committee. SB 19 Rubio, criminal threats do pass out on an A roll call. SB 248 Rubio, firearms information holding committee. SB 616 Rubio, community hardening commission do pass out with Republicans not voting. SB 680 Rubio, offender registration do pass out on an A roll call. SB 783 Rubio, off-premises advertising display do pass out on an A roll call. SB 67 Sayarto, military dependent financial aid do pass out on an A roll call. SB 70 Sayarto, small business procurement holding committee. SB 74 Sayarto, infrastructure grant fund program holding committee. SB 76 Sayarto, vehicle registration fee do pass out on an A roll call. SB 78 Sayarto, highway system safety report do pass out on an A roll call. SB 75 Smallwood Cuevas, pathway to employment program do pass out on an A roll call. SB 275 Smallwood Cuevas do pass is amended to revise how continued eligibility review must be conducted. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 290 Smallwood Cuevas, CalWorks holding committee. SB 423 Smallwood Cuevas, incarcerated firefighters do pass with authors' amendments to strike section 2 and 3 from the bill, out with Republicans not voting. SB 442 Smallwood Cuevas, grocery self-service checkout, 2-year bill. SB 464 Smallwood Cuevas, employer pay data do pass is amended to report data for additional job categories beginning in 2027. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 578 Smallwood Cuevas, California Workplace Outreach Program do pass out on a B roll call. SB 756 Smallwood Cuevas, film tax credit data do pass with authors' amendments to remove data collection requirement for justice-involved individuals. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 472 Stern, Holocaust and Genocide Education do pass out on an A roll call. SB 483 Stern, Diversion holding committee. SB 500 Stern, Building Energy Use Tool do pass out on an A roll call. SB 582 Stern, Care Facilities Licensing During Disaster do pass out on an A roll call. SB 613 Stern, Low Methane Natural Gas do pass out on a B roll call. SB 614 Stern, Carbon Dioxide Pipelines do pass with authors' amendments to change the date by which the fire marshal must adopt regulations and make other technical changes. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 655 Stern, maximum indoor temperature do pass is amended to clarify the obligation of the state. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 771 Stern, social media liability do pass with authors' amendments to delay implementation and change findings and declarations. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 820 Stern, involuntary medication do pass out on an A roll call. SB 842 Stern, firm zero carbon resources holding committee. SB 364 Strickland, outdoor advertising display do pass as amended to strike customary maintenance provision. That's out on an A roll call. SB 25 Umberg, antitrust notifications do pass out with Republicans not voting. SB 27 Umberg Care Court do pass with authors' amendments to strike urgency clause and make technical changes. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 35 Umberg unlicensed alcohol and drug programs hold in committee. SB 36 Umberg price gouging do pass as amended to strike geographic expansion of prohibition and limit search warrant authority to DOJ. That's out on a B roll call. SB 37 Umberg attorney advertisements do pass with authors' amendments to change requirements for permissible joint advertising and make other changes. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 42 Umberg public campaign financing, that is do pass, out on a B roll call. SB 54 Umberg court fee waivers do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 55 Umberg free state park access holding committee. SB 83 Umberg alcohol and drug program violations do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 249 Umberg Board of Education elections holding committee. SB 312 Umberg dog import health certification or certificates do pass with authors' amendments to remove the website, out with Republicans not voting. SB 398 Umberg election-related crimes do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 645 Umberg civil juries do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 563 Valadares off-highway motor vehicle registration holding committee. SB 591 Valadares electronic payment penalties holding committee. SB 257 Wahab Parent Act do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 258 Wahab spousal rape do pass with authors' amendments to address capacity to consent for a person with a mental disorder or developmental or physical disability. That is out with Republicans not voting. SB 261 Wahab labor commissioner enforcement do pass as amended to strike the online posting requirement and make technical and clarifying changes. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 332 Wahab state-run utility study holding committee. SB 384 Wahab pricing algorithm holding committee. SB 433 Wahab residential care facilities for the elderly holding committee. SB 701 Wahab signal jammers do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 32 Weber Pearson perinatal care access standards holding committee. SB 236 Weber Pearson chemical hair relaxers do pass with authors' amendments to strike registration requirement, modify testing requirements, and make other changes. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 437 Weber Pearson claim eligibility do pass. That's out on a B roll call. SB 439 Weber Pearson California Health Benefit Review Program do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 503 Weber Pearson AI and Healthcare do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 518 Weber Pearson Bureau for Descendants of American Slavery do pass with authors' amendments to remove the Bureau to the Civil Rights Department and strike provisions relating to racially motivated eminent domain, among other changes. That's out on a B roll call. SB 646 Weber Pearson perinatal vitamins do pass, out on an A roll call. SB 41 Wiener pharmacy benefit managers do pass with authors' amendments to remove insurance code provisions, add financial audits, and other changes. Sorry, with Republicans not voting. Take a sip of water before I go through the rest of Senator Wiener's bills. For dramatic pause. Okay. SB 53 Wiener AI model developers do pass as amended to strike the third-party audit requirement and raise the threshold for a covered developer from 100 million to 500 million. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 59 Wiener court records do pass with author amendments to strike retroactive sealing requirements and make technical changes. That's out on a B roll call. SB 63 Wiener transit tax measure do pass as amended to add an urgency clause. That's out on a B roll call. SB 71 Wiener CEQA exemption for transit projects do pass with authors' amendments to strike section 3 and exempt certain joint development projects. That's out with Republicans not voting. On SB 79, Wiener Transit-Oriented Housing Development, due pass is amended to, among other changes, remove Tier 3 provisions, provide fire severity zone and historic district flexibilities, modify definitions, and make numerous clarifying and technical changes. And we'll do a roll call vote on SB 79. Oh, and we need a motion. We have one from Mr. Aaron's.
Second.
And a second, okay.
Wicks,
Aye.
Wicks, aye. Sanchez, Sanchez, no. Arumbula,
Aye.
Arumbula, aye. Calderon, Calderon, no. Caloza, Caloza, aye. Dixon, Dixon, no. El Hawari, El Hawari, aye. Fong, Fong, aye. Mark Gonzalez, Mark Gonzalez, aye. Aaron's,
Aye.
Aaron's, aye. Pacheco, Pacheco, no. Pellerin, Pellerin, not voting. Salache,
No.
Salache, no. Tar, Tar, no. Tangipa, Tangipa, aye.
That bill has 8, and it is out. Okay. SB 363, Wiener Independent Medical Review, 2-year bill. SB 378, Wiener Online Cannabis Marketplaces, due pass with author amendments to modify enforcement, among other changes. Okay, that is out with Republicans not voting. SB 445, Wiener High Speed Rail Holding Committee. SB 597, Wiener Protected Health, 497, Wiener Protected Health Care Activity due pass, out on a B roll call. SB 774, Committee on Business, Professions, and Economic Development, Sunset Review, Department of Real Estate and the Bureau of Real Estate Appraisers due pass, out on an A roll call. SB 775, Committee on Business, Professions, and Economic Development, Sunset Review, Psychology Board and Behavioral Sciences Board due pass with authors technical and clarifying amendments. That's out with Republicans not voting. SB 776, Committee on Business and Professions and Economic Development, Sunset Review, Board of Optometry due pass with authors amendments to raise certain fees and reduce the size of the board. That's out with Republicans not voting. And SB 855, Committee on Military and Veterans Affairs, Armories due pass, out on an A roll call. So the committee moved 190 bills to the assembly floor, either as a due pass or due pass with amendments. In most cases, amendment language will be available Tuesday or maybe thereafter through the California Legislative Information website. And this concludes our suspense hearing for this session. Thanks, everyone.
Please moves items 71 and 72 to the inactive file.
I just want to know, what did you know about bills not being brought to the floor? There were two critical reparation bills, Senate Bill 1403 and Senate Bill 13.
Forgive me, because there's over 1,000. I'm not very good at the numeric, but
that, you know, it's gonna, the analysis said it's only a couple $1 million to stand it up. And his response was, we want to do it in a different way. We don't want to do it through creating a whole new bureau. We want to do it through the UC system.
So this is Assemblyman Mr. Bryan. He's mad I brought up the reparations vote. So he's preventing me from speaking. And he's trying to block my access to it. Madam Speaker, I ask that we take up file item 71, SB 1331.
If you decide to start your family tree even without the DNA, 8 or 9 times out of 10, you're going to find your family.
A great number of African Americans can trace their lineage to the period of enslavement.
Lamert was developed by Walter H. Lamert, and in his designing this area, he actually had covenants to where they would not sell to black people.
I supported the bill all session.
Then bring the bill.
Will you vote?
CLBC, can you give them a grade 1 to 10?
Oh, this current crop, as of now, it's a negative.
Vote for the bill, Mr.
Bring the bill.
Will you vote for the bill?
Bring it up.
Will you vote for reparations?
Bring it
I
up.
would love it.
Bring it up.
Let's vote for reparations
Bring
together.
it up.
It's a spirit of anti-blackness, and we must call it out. And so I'm going to call out on August 31st, 2024, that the California Legislative Black Caucus, the majority of them, and the governor allowed the enemy to use them to try to keep us down and keep us as bottom-class citizens.
Just think that all the other members have at least about 10 years left, so we're not going anywhere.
I've heard it slightly changed, and some of the advocates who were part of the coalition last go-around are now expressing concerns of whether or not they'll still be able to stand behind it if those changes are not corrected.
In so many years, it will hardly be no black folks left in California. We love y'all, we thank y'all, and we demanding reparations right now. First of all, America, from the evidence that they gave us, you're guilty.
What happened on August 31st, 2024 was a betrayal.
We know that if we don't have our hand in this process as much as we possibly can, it can't be corrected from the outside. So in terms of our role isn't done until they're issuing the checks for our reparations.
The time for reparations is now.
Yeah.
It's now. What do we want? What do we want? What do we want?